Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Secretary, for your service. Let me start quickly with something which I think we have very good bipartisan support, and then I'll move to something where might be a little anxiety in the room. First on Israel, thank you. I can tell you I fully support your budget for U.S. assistance to Israel, which includes the $3.3 billion in security assistance, which is part of the memorandum of understanding followed by both Obama, Trump, Biden administration. And I just want to say for the record that I would expect and hope that I know there is some political conflict internally in Israel, but that should not affect our full support in terms of Israel's security. And then on the next subject, my, I know we're going to go again on this, which has to do with women and making sure, in my opinion, that women are in control of their own personal decision, whether or not to, how and when to bring in a child and so forth. So I want to ask you a couple things about the budget. First, and I think this also ties in with the fact that rape and sexual abuse has been being used as a weapon of war, especially we know in Ukraine. Yesterday we met with women from Afghanistan, and they also complained in that regard. So first, I do think there's going to be, or may be, an issue in terms of cuts to family planning and to UNFPA. I'd like to get your opinion on what that would mean in terms of security and in terms of women.
To us, these programs and our ability to fund them is critical. It's not only critical to making sure that women and girls have the protections that they need and deserve. It is also, I think, important to larger questions of security and stability in a number of these countries. We follow the law, and we will always follow the law, but we also believe we need to continue to lead in global health, in advancing gender equality, in women and girls empowerment, and evidence-based policies to advance public health. And we're determined to do that. The budget reflects that. That includes support for sexual reproductive health and the associated rights, which is key to the well-being and the health of women. One thing I'd point out, this goes more broadly to the gender gap that we see around the world. If we were able, just in terms of compensation and employment, to eliminate the gap that exists in the world on a gender basis, and women were able both to earn and to be employed to the same extent as men, there's a very compelling study that shows it would add about $28 trillion to the global economy. That's very powerful. So we specifically, when it comes to health, our budget reflects this. We will strongly consider to continue to support. And more broadly, we have an effort underway to advance greater gender equity and equality and the empowerment of women around the world.
Thank you. And we just had a bipartisan meeting, Women, Peace and Security Caucus meeting with women from Ukraine who were explaining to us that, I mean, not only have, of course, many of them have had to flee the country, but now many women are actually in charge of so many things, making sure things happen in the country because the men, so many men are fighting. So obviously getting them the health care that they need. And I'm seeing I'm running out of time, but I want to say the same thing about education. There are so many girls out of school in the world, especially because of what happened with COVID. I'd like you to comment about that.
We have, one of the risks, and of course we face this at home in different ways, is exactly that. The last thing that we want, obviously for ourselves, but also for people around the world, is any kind of lost generation because of being out of school. Around the world, of course, it's not just COVID, it's the fact that you have in so many places conflict, population displacement, where it's been vital to make sure that we provide and others provide the resources necessary to provide for kids' education. I mentioned earlier the vital role that an organization like UNICEF plays in making sure that those who don't have access to normal education actually get it. So the request we have in our own budget is about $650 million for basic education and about $230 million or so for higher education. I think the landscape has been somewhat transformed by COVID-19. There are changes to education programming, kids returning to schools. We have some money that remains in the pipeline. And I have to tell you as well, we have a bit of a challenge because in places where we have sought to spend money on education, we've in some cases been blocked by governments that don't necessarily like that. So my belief is that with the money requested, as well as with some existing money that we haven't been able to spend in the way we wanted, we have the appropriate resources for this coming year. But we very much want to work with you on this. We need to get this one right, and it's something that I've got an intense focus on.
Thank you very much. Yield back, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.